E360 TV proudly presents messages of inspirational stories. Live streaming now to millions of devices, including Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, YouTube Live, Facebook Live, with your host, Donna and Jim, producer and host, Jim Grant, producer and host, along with Michaela Vidal, administrator and host, and Gaia Ginwa Balconi Wada, editor-in-chief.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Friday, the Messages of Inspirational Stories. Jim, I'm so excited. We are finishing up week 1 of Change Your Mental Vision.
Yes, ma'am, we are. And what we found out, we were planning on doing this just for 1 week. But all of the information started coming out. Not the messenger, but the messages. Our numbers have shot up, which means people want more of it. And there's so much more we can cover. We are going to cover next week, and we're just going to continue with 6 through 10, and then we'll decide if we've got more material that we can cover the following week or not. We'll play that by ear because Donna and I, we look at what the response is out there and how we are being a blessing to you. That's our JAWB, a job here, right?
Right.
And Donna, over the last couple of days, we had our good friend, Director of Marketing, Mr. Emerson Brantley, with us. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to share something with you. This is a quote from W. Clement Stone. You know, if you have nothing to lose, and it's a seed of a greater benefit, go ahead and ask. Because many times we don't have the courage to step out of our comfort zone and ask. And Emerson has been very successful in many things. And he was working with us on one little project there. It's not a little project, but anyways, working with us a little bit. And I said, Emerson, would you like to join our team permanently as the Director of Marketing? And really, when I was thinking about asking him, you want to know what went through my mind? This is why we don't pay much attention to this thing, okay? This thing here will cloud your vision and everything else. And I'm being honest, because all my doubts creeped in. Nobody is immune to doubts or worries or concerns. Excuse me. But it's how you address those and how you do not let them control you. Well,
correct.
Of course, hey, Emerson's, he's done a lot. He's worked with Fortune 100 companies. I mean, why would he want to, join your little team? And, I was really expecting him, thanks to this thing up here, for him to say, well, gee, Donna and Jim, thank you so much for this invitation, but I have so much to do and I'm already committed to so much. I just can't take on anything new.
Right.
But Donna, that's not what happened to us, was it?
Nope. And we are so excited and so grateful.
His response to us was that I'd be honored to join your team.
Right.
Thank you for asking me. So then, you got that bird brain?
Right.
I mean, because your mind can actually make you do hard time. And it can make you miss opportunities in life based on doubt, fear, that you're not worthy.
Right.
Oh, that's a big one. At least for me.
Right. And I guess to summarize it, the moral of this is don't bite into the negative thinking that your brain produces.
Oh, yeah.
Don't bite.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Donna, I haven't done this last couple of days, but I always look forward to the National Today. Today's May the 20th. And In fact, May 21st is a very important day for us here too, isn't it? Before we get
Oh,
into
it's
that.
extremely important. So our chief and editor, Gaia, Quinoa Balcony Weta,
Wait up,
Weta,
wait up,
I,
wait up.
I still don't know how to pronounce her married name. And I'm her mother. But tomorrow is her birthday. So you know what? Happy birthday, Gaia.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, sweet girl. We're so glad that you're with us, and it's an honor for us to have you on board with us. And
It
thank you
is.
so much for what you do. And
And she
just
is
happy.
amazing behind the scenes.
Oh,
Wow.
she's a wonderful person. Yeah. And just to have a blessed, happy birthday. And, we just love you and we appreciate you for who you are and what you do for us. We
Absolutely.
wanted to get that out of the way. And when I say get it out of the way, I didn't want to forget it. That's what I meant. See, Donna laughs at me. She knows I'm mentally challenged. Everybody else just thinks I'm just challenged all the way around. Oh,
Oh,
but today is a very special day. It's the National Day for Rescue Dog Day. Oh, that
yay.
really hits home to us because we love dogs. And I know a lot of you folks out there do too.
Yep.
And that is why one of the charities that we enjoy mentioning is the Shelter to Soldier program. And I'm going to let Donna explain a little bit about it because it just falls right in perfect step with National Rescue Dog Day.
It really does. So this is started in California.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did was they saw a need to help our veterans. And so they went in to shelters who have dogs who are really probably not going to be adopted and probably be euthanized. And those are usually the bigger dogs because a lot of people get scared of large dogs, take up too much room, too rowdy, what have you. So they go in and they adopt these dogs and they train them to PTSD. And then the veterans apply and then they do go through all of the information they need. Then they do a meet and greet with a bunch of dogs. And so they pick each other. That is the beautiful thing. So, it might be 4 or 5 dogs, what have you, but they come out and they pick each other. Two souls unite. And I'll tell you what, the beautiful thing is number one, not one soldier has taken his life or her life with this program. It's free to the soldiers. It is, free all the way around. The dog is saved. The soldier's life is saved. So it is a vibrational ripple throughout the world where we have, success. We have joy. We have bonding. And we have life.
Yeah. And, we like to share that with you because it's very, very important because one of the things that Emerson has emphasized with our association working with him, he says, your cause has to be bigger than you.
Absolutely.
And Donna and I, we get requests for, pitch guys, I'll call them, to be guests on the show. And just the other day, I got a email in from a person that says, "Hey, this guy here, da 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 da," and he's a guru in that particular arena for being pitchmen, speakers, and things like that. What I call hyper diaper yakety sax. And here's the thing that really insults me. And I've already unsubscribed to them twice, and they keep coming back like the plague. But they said, you can earn over $1,000 per cell. And I forget what else it said. Oh, and expect, crazy results.
Right.
I mean, that is an insult to us, and that would also be an insult to our audience because when is the last time anybody in their right mind that wasn't half drunk or half crazy picked up a remote and started searching for sales pitches.
Right.
But I mean, that also, Donna and I are committed to our show, to the quality of our show, and to make sure 100% we cannot be bought or sold.
Right. We stand within our integrity.
Mhm. And Donna, let's get back to some national days here before we go any further.
Yeah, because the rest of them might make me a little hungry.
Okay, I want to let you go ahead and say it then, because I might be hungry.
Well, today is National Quiche Lorraine Day.
Mm.
I love quiche Lorraine. Yum. Kind of makes me want to make one.
There you go. And also today, folks, today is Friday. Today is the National Pizza Party Day. So, wherever you are, or it could be tomorrow, whenever you watch the show, or whenever, it could be on a Tuesday or Wednesday, make plans to have a pizza party. Oh, I mean, those things are always so much fun.
Absolutely.
And this is also the National Strawberries Day. And I'm going to kind of mention something about that pizza party in just a minute. And it's really a wonderful thing because strawberries are, oh my goodness, they are so beneficial to you. Plus, they taste good too.
Right.
Oh my goodness. And of course, today is National the Special Interest Day for NASCAR Day. And we wanted to mention that to you, but let's get back a little bit to Pizza Day, because one thing that we covered in a previous show, can you imagine having a pizza party and playing 2 lies and 1 truth game?
Right. That would be fun.
Oh, we did that here live on the show. And Donna and I, we shared 2, was it 2 truths and 1 lie? Or was it? Yeah,
We did
truths and
2
1
of
lie.
them. We did 2.
Yeah. And we didn't tell each other what was real, what not.
Yeah, it was a 50-50 split. We each got 1 right and 1 wrong about the other person.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think your audio may be, or it's my audio, my signal, something got a little bit of, could be my signal. I just flashed.
Yeah, I think it's your stream, Jim.
It could be. It could be. So, folks, please bear with us. Technology is great until it doesn't work. So, we're just going to drive on with the show. But it's really amazing to me how I just keep flashing on and off. Am I cutting in and out?
Yeah, Jim's froze.
Let me come back in, okay? Let me see if I can correct that, okay? I'm sorry, folks. I apologize, but I'll be right back. Hopefully, I'll be right back.
It happens. So while Jim is trying to reconnect and get a little better stream, we did the 2 truths and 1 lie in a show, and we absolutely had a ball. It's hysterical. So you literally take 3 things. 1 of them is a truth and 2 of them are lies. And then the person you're playing with has to guess which one's a truth, and then which, of course, are the 2 lies. And as well as Jim and I know each other as best friends, as partners, my goodness, we each got 1 right and 1 wrong. But man, did we have fun. We had a blast. And I told Jim, I can't wait till we have our next card game with our friends here at the house, because we are definitely going to be playing 2 truths and 1 lie. So we like to get together with our friends, every 6 weeks, 2 months, and play cards and just laugh and have a good time. Sometimes come in for dinner. So I can't wait to do that when we have our next card game here at the house.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Jim. Welcome back.
Well, I had to go to the ATM and pick up some quarters.
Good health's hard to find, folks. I keep talking to him about make sure you got enough of the dadgum quarters to plug in that sucker, and he never listens.
I know it. Good help is hard to find. I mean, when I show up on the TV show, I should have a jingle in my jangle, as having enough coins in my pocket. But that's what we do and that's what you should do when anything goes wrong. Because I've had people on this show, if something goes wrong, or at least they go into
Freak out.
panic feel.
Yeah.
And everybody understands that, we're all going to have issues, problems. It's no big deal. Just be yourself and just be real. And
Right.
It's one
Not
of
the
the
end of the
things.
world.
No. And I got to give a salute to Donna. Let me tell you why, ladies and gentlemen. This poor lady over the last couple of days, she has been working equivalent to a solitary beaver, a lone beaver swimming out in the middle of a flooded river trying to build a dam by themselves.
Right.
And you talk about pushing a chain uphill. I'd rather have a job digging a ditch right now in the Texas heat in the middle of the day than do her job. I mean, oh man, that would have drove me bananas. So
Yeah.
I got to salute you on that, and I'm so glad you finally got everybody out of the house around 4:30 as you were getting everything squared away for the,
Yeah.
salahila, holapala, and
Right.
tacos and enchiladas to you and yours.
I know there's a few more loose ends to
Mhm.
to finish up today, but not
Yeah.
too bad. We're getting there, so
Oh,
I'm grateful it's going to be done.
Oh, yeah. It's bless her heart. And we're so glad that she's back with us. And today we're going to talk a little bit about, let's start out with a good old fashioned positive mental attitude.
Absolutely.
Yesterday, a lot of people, Emerson covered this good. A lot of people say, think positive and all that. And Emerson went into great detail. And if you didn't see that show, pick up Change Your Vision, part 4. It's already on our YouTube channel. And in fact, let's put our YouTube channel up there. Let me see if I can find it here. Let's see here. Is that it?
Jim, since we're talking about positive mental attitude, while you're looking for that, I want to read something
Okay.
that I saw and posted today.
Okay.
Because I really think it's interesting. So it shows a lion with wings up in the clouds, right? And he's golden. And then it shows a lion on a cliff, all right? And this is what it says. Finding yourself is not really how it works. You aren't a $10 bill in last winter's coat. You are not lost. Your true self is right there, buried under cultural conditioning, other people's opinions, and inaccurate conclusions you drew as a child and adult that become your beliefs about who you are. Finding yourself is actually returning to yourself, and unlearning, an excavation of remembering who you were before the world got its hands on you.
Oh, wow.
Is that not beautiful?
That's good, Donna. It really is. Because, ladies and gentlemen, with all the doom and the gloom going on in the world today, my goodness gracious, and all of the ugliness, let's be honest, it's just plain old evilness and ugliness being vomited on society.
A lot of evil.
Yeah. And people, crime is up and all that. You know what? No one's in charge of our lives except us. And if we choose to love ourselves and we choose to raise ourselves up above the muck and the mire and the trash of life, nobody can stop us.
No.
Now, that's not some think positive, pep talk. That's a promise.
Right.
Well, from the Señor in the sky. I mean, it really is. And that promise is as true as the sun will rise in the east and set in the west. And all these people wanting to change the world, I challenge them, okay, let's see you legislate, regulate, and strangulate the sun to rise in the west and set in the east. Let's see how you Einsteins pull that one off.
Exactly.
Speaking of Einstein, we were doing a puzzle. We like to do puzzles this morning. I finally learned how the Wordle works. I don't know if you've ever tried that or not. It comes on once a day, and you got these empty blocks, 5. And I always start with ALONE because I want to get my vowels in there. And if they're in the right place, well, first of all, if they're right, they're going to light up. The rest of them be gray and subdued.
Right.
So if they've got the right letters in there in the wrong place, they'll be kind of gold colored. But if they're green, you're good to go. And so then you try to figure out what the next word would be, and you have up to, 5 times 6, something like that. But, see if you can get it right. It's really kind of a neat challenge. And I just found out about that I got it from Michaela. She sent it to me. And I said, what do you want me to do with this? Shows you how smart I am. But anyway, we do a couple of little puzzles me and Alf do in the morning just to try to keep our minds active.
Yeah, what's that thing called?
Yeah. This thing, it gets us in trouble, especially us guys, when we start thinking. But I want to make sure I read this quote to you because when I read it, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. This is from Einstein. He said, education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. Isn't that the truth?
It is.
When I went to school, all of our teachers were, growing up, were encouraging us to think.
Right.
That's changed nowadays, ladies and gentlemen. It's more now about indoctrinating and, let's be honest, brainwashing.
Right.
It may be kind of a harsh term, but it is. If you're telling someone what to think.
Right.
I mean, it's just like in a relationship. If someone's trying to, rule your life and tell you the way you should think, that's brainwashing.
Right. The way you should think, the way you should act, the way you are.
Yeah, exactly. And all of that stuff it's evil and it's not nice. And it just, it really hurts everybody because that negative vibration just keeps going out there. But if you love yourself and you say, okay, that may be the way you feel, I have no control over that, but I'm not going to let it poison my soul, my spirit,
right,
or my life, because you're worthy to enjoy a good life. You really are. And Emerson spoke very clearly yesterday about having a positive mental attitude. It's not just, yeah, man, I feel good. Rah, rah, be true to your school. That's okay. But Emerson talked about trust your intuition. I mean, it's just, you got to trust yourself,
right.
Don't be afraid to make a mistake. And Donna and I, we live by a standard here because we're going to be doing some different things with as we work with various groups. But we know we're going to make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
We got
probably two
words.
or three.
Yeah, especially me helping them. Probably 3 or 4. But we have 2 words that fit that category.
So what?
What? Amen. But then we're going to list, okay, this is what went well.
Right.
And these were the lessons we learned. Because Emerson pointed out very clearly that you learn more from your lessons.
Absolutely.
Than anything else. In fact, that's where you do learn,
Right.
It really is. And Donna, I've been sitting here jabbering away, but I know you had some things you wanted to say, so I'm just going to hush and let you get right on in there.
No, I love, and I want to talk about that a little bit more.
Okay.
What we learn, I think sometimes we get conditioned as young children. Don't do that. That's not right. That's not right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do this, do that. Don't do this. But again, just like you said, Jim, that's where we learn.
Yes.
Where we learn to fall down and skin our knees and get back up and said, wow, that left a mark.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to do that again.
Yeah.
Right. But our growth comes in that. And that is what leads us to beautiful greatness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And I'm talking about the greatness within,
Mm.
not outside. I'm talking about the grace within.
Mm.
Okay. So when we learn from our grace within, nothing can stand in our way because you've learned by that mistake. You've given yourself grace for that mistake. And you can honestly look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, next, I'm ready.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And not get bogged down by it.
Yeah. Donna, I'm glad you said that because you were talking about that. It reminded me of look at kids, little toddlers when they're learning how to walk. Sometimes they'll fall on their butt and they'll laugh. That
right?
was funny.
I love that.
Yeah. And look at us. Remember when we started to learn how to ride a bicycle? Okay. You don't start, you do not ride a bicycle. Lesson learned. Do not try to ride a bicycle through a forest unless you want to smooch some trees. But my point being, just like the toddler who falls on their little butts and they laugh or giggle, think it's funny, or if they fall down, they get back up. Whoops, okay, it's okay.
Right.
It didn't end their life. Okay, they're better at that than we are as adults. And as young kids, so what? Fall off your bike, whatever, because you're going to master it. But think
Right.
about it when we become adults, the least little things
Oh, it
that
can
handicap
derail us.
us. Yeah,
Yeah, it can
just like
totally
me,
derail us.
just like us. I was kind of like wondering, gee, should we contact Emerson or not? I mean, because he may laugh at us. He may think we're, what are you smoking? Just saying something like that to me, invite me to join you or something. I mean, these are the way we punish ourselves.
Right.
It handicaps us.
Yep.
It makes us become, as the old saying goes, fraidy cats. We're afraid of this. We're afraid of that.
Right.
And when did all that change? I mean, when did we lose that ability? It's kind of like watching old folks at the mall getting ready to step on the elevator. And they're going. I mean, when did we lose that ability? I mean, I just hop right up there, But that's why you don't let your mind control your life. As weird as that sounds, because your mind can only bring up the past.
Well, I've talked about this before, Jim, that as adults, there's, and I don't know what that magic age is, but
Mhm.
there is a magic age from, from childhood, from, being a baby up through a certain point where when we're children, we don't have fear, right? We're fearless.
Yeah.
Everything is fun. Everything, is a learning experience. Everything is great. And we have abundance of energy,
Mm.
right?
Yes, we
While we're
do.
growing like a weed. And at some point, as adults, we turn that switch off. And
Yeah.
I believe at that point, we lose some of the best part of ourselves.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I know in my house, I'm the silly one. And in fact, my husband said to me the other day, he said, you're my silly wife. And I said, what do you mean by that? He's like, you're constantly being silly.
Hmm.
But you know what? To me, that's a spice of life.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's been many times I'm saying or doing something here on the TV show, and Donna start laughing. She says, "Oh, you're silly."
Hmm.
And you know what?
It's
It
fun.
keeps you young. Yes,
It
it
does.
does. It keeps you young. I mean, if I came on here one day and I was, weather sure been hot, and looked out there at my plants, and they, no matter how much I water them, they just look like they're, you know. And Donna would send me a message, say, "You need to go backstage, and you need to get, you need to flush out your mind or whatever's up
Right.
there because, brother, you're losing it." But so many people at age 73, senior citizens, I'm talking of, because I am one, even though I don't think like I am. Numbers, yeah, I'm just glad I'm still in the game. But so many people have that old world thinking.
Right.
They've convinced themselves mentally that they're old. Where is it
Yep. That they
written?
can't do anything anymore.
Yeah, where is it written? Because you're taking a lifetime of knowledge and experience, and you're just putting it in the closet and say, "Well, I'm just going to sit around and talk about my medicines," and
My doctor's appointments, and I'm going to
yeah,
watch Jeopardy on TV. And
yeah,
yeah, it's ridiculous because
mm,
we lose so much. We have value. And
yeah,
this is huge.
mm,
I'm 57 and we have so much value
oh
left to
yeah,
give and
oh
to
yeah.
give to other people,
Mm. I
right? We have
mean,
years of that value.
yeah, I mean, Donna and I, we were on a summit. She spoke on a Sunday, excuse me. I spoke on a Monday, and the audience out there is over 100,000. They're in the six digits of the youth around the world. They were so impressed with Donna and impressed with me. And we got invited to be advisors on the International Youth Summit board.
Yes.
And
What an
my
honor.
Yeah, my wife says, you got picked for the International Youth Summit? I said, yeah, I was the youngest old guy they could find. But it wasn't, see, what they wanted us there for was for the wisdom and knowledge, the encouragement,
Right.
our spirit that we bring to it. I mean, because like we've covered recently during this week, I think, in the shows that we've done, how, if someone says, well, I can't do this because I don't have any money,
Right.
that's a story in your mind. And you use that story to justify, to make yourself feel better about yourself. And to also, it's a crutch and excuse that you
That's the
can
word right
use.
there. It's an excuse.
Yeah, that you can use to make you feel better about yourself instead of saying, hey, I mean, what if you have a mastermind with some people and say, I've got an idea here and I'd like to do this. And, I don't have any money, but I'm rolling to work. I mean, you got to have a cause that's bigger than you. And
Right.
then you find like-minded people who think the same as you do as far as having a cause.
Right.
And just like I mentioned earlier about the guy says, hey, you can make over $1,000, per sale, and it's going to be crazy conversions. Well, I'm not into that because that's not a cause.
I look at it like this. When you want to change the world,
Mhm.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you where you need to start with yourself.
Amen. Amen.
Right?
Yeah,
That's where
because
you
if
have to start.
because money, number one, ladies and gentlemen, is the poorest motivator on planet Earth. And if we did things because of money, 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 then in our heart, our God is money.
Right.
That is spooky, ladies
My
and gentlemen.
husband likes to say, money is the most replenishable commodity there is.
Yeah.
You can always work more. You can always get more money.
hmm
But there's a lot of things you can't get more of.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because time, once it's gone,
Right?
you think about using time to your advantage as a valuable asset to be able to contact a friend or send an encouraging message to someone or call up on someone and say, hey, I knew you've been sick or I knew you had surgery a month ago. How are you doing?
Right.
Things like that. That's how you build value in your life. And the way this world turns with the energy and all that, with the positive energy, doing positive things, that forces the negative energy out the back door. And the positive energy is going to push you to greatness
Absolutely.
because it can invest in you.
And
Because
you can
yeah,
invest in it.
yes,
So
and
it's a two-way street.
you're going to pay it forward.
Mm-hmm.
Because one thing about blessing, when you've been blessed and you bless others, it just was like planting a seed in the ground. You plant one kernel of corn, and that corn stalk grows. It's going to produce a lot more than one kernel of corn. All the ears, I don't know how many kernels of corn are on the average ear, but there's a bunch of them. I know that
Right.
because I used to shell corn when I was a kid, and off the cob, and twist it and wring it in the hands and all
Yep.
that. That was, and
Shuck some corn, baby. Shuck some
oh yeah,
corn.
oh yeah, that was because my dad, mother, they believed in teaching you the value of working,
Right.
and because that gives you integrity, that gives you
Absolutely.
self-respect, and that give hand ups in life to help people, and not just
Absolutely.
okay, here you go, a handout. Because if you give them a handout only, Donna, we enslave them, don't we?
We do. We do. Because we're not teaching them to grow and learn for themselves and to
hmm
have that self respect and self pride and
hmm
self motivation.
hmm Yeah. One of the things that I have found that's really helped me in my life when I'm struggling with something is don't quit. And they label that as like going the extra mile.
Right.
And I believe it was Napoleon Hill in his interviewing of the 500 people. There were two things that stood out. One, listen up, ladies, the most common denominator those 500 rich men had, they had a fantastic mother.
Mhm.
And number two, a lot of them were kind of like Edison. failure after failure after failure. And most of them decided, well, I'm going to try one more time. And
Right.
then success came. Just like
Right.
Edison had 10,000 failures, I think it was, before he invented the light bulb. But he didn't quit.
I actually, my husband and I watched a show, and I don't remember what it was,
Mhm.
probably on the History Channel or something. And it was about a guy who collects light bulbs. And he has light bulbs that Edison had used in his earlier
Experience.
protege, getting up to, it was amazing.
Wow. Wow. That's incredible. It really is. And the stickability in that. And I mean,
Right.
just, talk about belief in yourself, talking about, yes, I haven't found the answer yet, but I know we can find the answer. That is absolutely huge. It's tremendous. And one of the things too that leads you down the pathway of success is having accurate thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And so the very first thing there is that if you're looking for advice, don't go to someone that doesn't have it.
Right.
In other words, if you're looking for financial advice and your brother-in-law is living paycheck to paycheck, he's not a real good source. It may be a nice guy, you may have a good relationship with him, but your brother-in-law is not a real good source to ask about financial matters. You
Right.
want to go to people who know more than you, and that will assist you in your accurate thinking because, Donna, you and I, we use masterminds a lot, just me and you.
Just about every time we're on the phone.
Yeah.
I'd say about 95%
Mhm.
of the time we're on the phone,
Mhm.
there's a mastermind involved
Yeah.
without even trying.
Yeah, it just comes second nature to us because she's the master and she tells me, would you mind?
Well, it's like the quarter. Somebody's got to do it, Jim.
No, but really, it just because I'll say something and it will generate an idea in
Right.
Donna's mind, and then vice versa.
Yeah.
We just balance each other real well in that regard. And
Mm-hmm.
when you have a 3 or 4 people that you can have a mastermind with, and a mastermind is just a good open discussion of ideas, you will be surprised how much energy that mastermind creates, number one.
Right.
Number two, you're going to be amazed at the answers that come out of that because this is specifically aimed for you folks that say, well, I want to do this, but I don't have any money. Okay, money's necessary, but is it a go or no go for you?
Mm-hmm.
If you're convinced that you need money to go, then you've already lost the game.
Well, one of the things, if I can interject this, I'm
Sure.
looking in here, and it's fascinating to me because we've talked about the blame game, right? We blame our circumstances, Well, I grew up in the ghetto. I grew up in the slums. I grew up, with alcoholism or drug addicted parents or what have you, or I was there myself.
Mhm.
Any and every excuse under the sun. So when people are saying, in essence, that the world has given them a raw deal,
Mhm.
they're blaming the world and circumstances outside of themselves for their
Ooh.
failures.
Mm.
They blame their heredity on their environment, and they start out with a negative mental attitude.
Mhm.
And of course, with that attitude, they are handicapped.
Mhm.
But it is a negative mental attitude that is holding them down, not the external handicap which they give as a cause for their failure.
Mm. That's huge, Donna. As you were reading that, it flashed in front of my mind a family that I knew many years ago, and still friends with the one guy. But his family was kind of like labeled as a hard luck family. They were poor. They were just barely existing.
Right?
Well, he came out of that family, same family, and he didn't have any money, but he had a desire to improve his life. And and without knowing it, he attracted people who were able to help him get from where he was to where he wanted to be. And then since he was, a good-hearted man, very good-hearted, he would, give, not loan, but give money to his family members to help them out and all that.
Right.
And he was known by other people saying, the only reason why that they have this or they have that is because of him. Because if it wasn't for him, they'd be starving.
Right.
And so that's a clear case of how someone can come out of an environment where everybody's equal, especially as a sibling raised up in a family like that. Everybody's equal, but they can choose a higher path. And you can too. Don't let anybody tell you can't.
Right. And that is applicable to anything you are doing in your life, whether it's school, whether it's a job, whether you have the desire to homeschool your children, grow most of your own food for your family, whatever the case may be. There is no limits to what you can do if you set your mind in the right direction.
I got to tell you something funny. When I was in school, now this may shock a few of you, but I was not really on the dean's list or anything as being a brilliant kid in school. And I just ate to get by. I mean, C's and D's. If I got a B, woo, we're talking, it's almost donut time. We got to celebrate that one. And I really thought at the time that mentally I was slower than the other kids. But then as I got up in it was junior high, or I was either freshman or sophomore, somewhere in there, and I took algebra. And my mother tried to talk me out of it. She says, Jim, you're, algebra? And it just so happened I found it interesting. And I made A's in algebra. And
you were bored. You were bored before.
I was bored. They could not hold my interest. And my dad looked at my report card. He's seeing C's and D's and all A's in algebra, and he's going like, what the hell happened here?
But that is so true. That happens more often than we hear or we know. Our children are horrible at one part of their school, a year or two or what have you, and then they hit another level, and it just opens up their mind for their interest level, and you blossom. And again, it's, I can do this. This is great. I love it. And nothing can stop you.
Oh, yeah, because in that particular class, I look forward to going to it. World history, it's like going to the dentist down here, Because the gentleman, he was a nice gentleman, don't get me wrong, that taught the class, but I found him dry as a bone in the desert.
Right.
He was very monotone, and he talked like this. I'm going like, this guy can't keep me awake.
Right.
I mean, if I was eating no-dos, the old pill no-dos.
I remember those.
Oh, yeah. I could eat one of them in a minute like M&M, and I still wouldn't be able to stay awake in this class. But, it's just amazing how, as parents and as people in life, when we find something that we like, or if we find something that someone else likes in their itself, it's our responsibility to ourselves and to them to help them flourish.
Right.
It's a win-win situation, and embrace that, because it's a wonderful feeling. It's a wonderful feeling.
It really is. And
I just wish I had someone, there when my dad asked me what happened here, and but I just wish I had someone there to say, okay, the reason why you did not do that good in other topics was that you were bored. And the reason why you did do well in this particular topic is that you did very well. That's because you were interested. Okay. Donna just got a message. She's got to be right back. So we're just going to carry on. And when I say we, you and I, and one of the things too, this is critical in life, is to have self-discipline. Self-discipline is one of the principles in life that can make you successful. And with that, you're able to say no to the things, especially things that will rob you of your time, maybe rob you of your energy, or maybe something that you're attracted to that can lead you down a dark path. Nobody's immune to that. So we need to be aware of that because, having the self-discipline, that is very, very critical. And it's something that we have to work on every day. I have to self-discipline myself and choose not to listen to the stuff that I see on the television because it upsets me. I'm speaking specifically about politics and politicians. It does not serve me. There's nothing I can do about that. So I'm going to let it go until I can, vote or whatever. But I mean, really, they want to get people fired up and stirred up and all that. Well, let it go because it does not serve you. And if you have a higher vision at a higher level, you're going to be lifted above that muck and the mire and trash of life. So that's one of the reasons why self-discipline is so important. If you know what's harmful to you, stay away from it. It's kind of like when people on a diet, they say, well, I love chocolate cake, but chocolate cake's not good for me. Well, you may have to stay away from it,
Right.
And Donna, I was just talking about self-discipline while you were taking care of some business there. And, when it comes to discipline ourselves, we have to keep ourselves in control, because if you're not in control of yourself, your emotions, your thoughts, your feelings,
You're out of control.
Amen. And that's a train wreck, isn't it, Donna?
It is. It is. You have to, I look at things when I was younger. Oh my gosh, I would try and do everything, get it all done. Hurry, hurry, hurry. And I would always look at the big picture. And that was what I was focused on instead of the small bites. That is how we are in control, not out of control.
Absolutely. We want to touch on this a little bit too, because Donna and I are strong believers in this. One of the things that makes you healthy and wealthy in life is having a good, sound physical and mental health.
Yep.
Now, I say wealthy in life, I'm not talking about material things. I'm talking about the riches of life that money cannot buy. And having good health and, enjoying sound mental health. I mean, it can be done. I mean, you can actually improve your inner workings of your body through nutrition and knowing what you should stay away from. But that is one of the key things that you owe to yourself. You're entitled to live a sound, healthy life and have a sound mind.
Absolutely. And, we can do things for ourselves physically, like walking. I walk a minimum of about 25 miles a week. And that's just walking. And walking is absolutely one of the best things that we can do for ourselves.
Yes. It gets you, your juices flowing, because I remember in sales, like on a car lot or something, they would tell you, don't stand there and talk to the person because they can get rigid.
Right.
Get them walking across the car lot. Let's go over here and take a look at this model here or something, because you want to get the arms swinging, the legs going and all that, because the juices get flowing and they get more relaxed.
Right.
And also too, when it comes to your physical health, do research, because right now, ladies and gentlemen, we've had and do have a library at our fingertips. I mean, we've got every bit of knowledge on planet Earth. In fact, now I'm not endorsing this product. I'm just saying that I'm investigating a product that talked about how the liver is the secret key to our health, because our liver is the only organ in the body that can rejuvenate new cells. And they were talking about the benefits of a formula, and there's several formulas out there, but they were talking about the benefits of an artichoke extract with turmeric and ginger, and how that helps, the mechanism, speed up the metabolism so that you can burn up, energy so it doesn't turn to fat like you do when you're a teenager. But the beautiful thing of it is what it does for the heart and the mind. Now, I'm still
Right.
doing research on that, but for someone out there that says, hey, that sounds kind of interesting because artichokes are good for you. We
Right.
know turmeric and ginger is good for us.
Right.
So, we're always, so we look at things like that. We're open-minded about that. And Donna, that is what we encourage people to do, to be open-minded to new ideas. That's critical, isn't it?
It is. It is. Because again, when we are open minded and when we expose ourselves to new things, that's when we learn, that's when we grow
Mhm.
and we expand.
Oh, yeah.
We don't become sedentary and
Mhm.
stale,
Oh, yeah.
right?
You
And
know,
that's the worst thing we can do.
yeah, you're exactly right. Because once we get because we're creatures of habit,
Oh yeah.
we all fall into those ruts. And I got to tell you something about us guys. Us guys, there are times, and we're all guilty of this, guys. Don't kid ourselves. There are times if we could choose, okay, I need to do this, but I'd rather do that. Hmm. You will go to that, rather do that.
You're right.
And, if you're sitting there and you're doing nothing, there's one thing that, women in your life, especially your wife, your spouse, your girlfriend, and they're busy in the house. They see you sitting there on the couch and you're kind of like, drifting out in the twala land. They can't stand to see you doing nothing. I mean, come on, you got to get it up and get it in gear. And that's so important in life because you were born to be a productive part of society.
Hmm.
One of the things that I've often thought to myself that I cannot answer and no one else can too. Why was I born in 1948 instead of 1848?
Right.
And I remember I mentioned that to someone. I'm trying to think who, and he said, "Well, Jim, for you, it's very simple. They didn't have any rock and roll music, and they didn't." I said, you know me well, don't you, brother?
Right.
But I like all kind of music, and you do too, Donna, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
I would have to say I'm not particularly fond of heavy metal or rap.
Oh no, no,
And
rap is crap. I
and so
mean, I
that would
mean, just
probably be, where I love good classical, I love
mhm,
country, I love, of course,
mhm.
rock and roll.
Oh yeah,
So my genre is pretty
mhm,
open with
yeah,
a few exceptions.
exactly. Because the reason why I don't particularly care for rap is because all of the negativeness in there. And when I grew up in a time, we sang about love, and the B word we used to describe ladies was babe and baby.
Right.
And I think that's a nicer way to refer to a lady as a babe or baby. And like I refer to Gaia, your daughter, baby girl.
Mhm.
I mean,
Right.
I do it Michaela because they know that I love them and I respect them, and that's
Right.
critical. And the other B word that they use in rap is not a nice word. It
No, it's
describes
not.
it really isn't, and that's why that we do not care for that type of music. And our good friend Marty Haggard, he is just a jewel. Him and his wife Tessa. You talk about two beautiful people,
Right.
very good-hearted people. I mean, down to earth people. My goodness gracious, we was sitting there talking to them, and they would start talking about their chickens, and Tessa said, "Yeah, I
Oh,
love my chickens."
yeah. Yeah, there was a storm brewing and she was worried about her chickens being out.
Yeah. But I mean, I love being around people like him.
Right. Right.
And
Me too.
Marty Haggard, he is a country music legend.
Oh yeah.
He really is. He's this oldest son of Merle Haggard. He was with his dad from the age of 8 on. He was the only one of all the children that knew his dad as far as
Right.
his true life on the road. He was there when he wrote all that music. And Marty said in the concert there, that one song that his dad, and I'm trying to think of it. Yeah. You remember this. We were there, Donna, and Marty was live on stage and he was talking about this song. And his dad said, yeah, he's out, Dad, I love that song. It's a great song. And then a couple months later, he called him up to play a song, or a month later. And
Oh
he said,
yeah.
what happened to that other song? What other song? He said, something about December. And he said, oh, yeah, that is a great song. He recorded. And Marty says, if you like that song, you're welcome.
Right, right.
If we
Dad
make it
forgot about
through
it.
December. Yeah, that
Right.
was, I mean, those are the kind of stories that Marty brings. And that's why we enjoy working with him and him being our friend. And he's just he's a great example of how you can be a great person,
Hmm.
even though you may have a great name.
Right.
A lot of people get puffed up with pride and they feel like they're so much higher up on the food chain than me or you. And for Marty and Tessa both to hug our necks and say, you're our friend, we love you. I mean,
Right.
Donna, how'd that make you feel? I mean, it
Oh
just,
my
oh,
goodness. It just, it filled me up. It
mhm,
filled
yeah,
me up. And, and I hope when I hug them back, I fill them up.
yeah, yeah. And that's a true case of how true love for yourself and for your fellow man can make you ultimately rich.
Right.
I mean, to the highest level, higher than all the money in the world could not buy that richness
Absolutely.
that you have. And Donna, we're out of time.
We
I'm
are
gonna-
out of time, Jim. So, you know,
Hmm.
we hope that you have a beautiful weekend. And
Oh
before
yes.
Jim wraps up the end of the show,
Mhm.
we want to thank each and every one of you who
Yes.
tune in to us every day, wherever you're at, in whatever part of the world, because we are international.
Mhm.
And wherever you are, thank you so much. And we really appreciate each and every one of you.
Absolutely. And please be sure to share our YouTube channel or join us on Facebook. Like our page on Facebook, as they say. But mainly, if there's information that you see that we are covering, that someone out there can say, hey, these guys are sharing something with you. It won't cost you anything, but we're going to, share some great information with you. That's why we're here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're not here to have a sale and make over $1,000 a sale and have great, I'd say fantastic results, crazy results, crazy results.
Right.
The only crazy, he had one word in there was crazy. If I'd have tipped him up on that deal, I'd have been crazy. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be back next week. We're going to be continuing this series, and we're going to be, Emerson will probably be with us. We're going to have Gaia on. We're going to have Michaela on. And, the only bad thing about that is they'll have to put up with me. One of them will, or maybe both of them. I'm not sure.
We'll work on that, Jim.
Oh, okay. Okay. I trust you. I trust you love me enough to. But ladies and gentlemen, our time is gone. Thank you so much for tuning in. And most importantly, we always say, be sure and love yourself first. You deserve that. You're entitled to that. And then love others. And all of the things in your life you do not have control of, let it go.
Right.
Don't let it rule you. Don't let it mess you. Don't let it ruin your day or your life. You're much better than that. God bless you from the bottom of our hearts. We hope you and your loved ones are healthy and happy and safe from all sickness and disease. And may you be a blessing to others. We'll see you Monday, folks. Have a great weekend and bless you. Thank you. Bye-bye.